Hot 96.3, AshMac here, and we continue to celebrate her as we get inspired, uplifted, and having the much-needed conversations with Inspire Her as we do business God's way. Now, you might say, okay, what do you mean? What are we doing with this type of conversation? Well, you know what? It's time that we get grounded, that we follow what we're called to do and our purpose, and talk to the experts that already do it. And maybe after you leave this conversation, you'll feel inspired to do what your purpose is and to move with confidence in that. So let us please welcome Dr. J. Mosley. Dr. Mosley.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Now, I want to read a few stats and facts about you so people can get really well acquainted. And, you are a talented and dedicated media professional. Okay, Dr. J. Mosley, or Dr. Jessica Mosley, has more than a decade plus of experience helping organizations communicate, not only communicate, but effectively communicate across the board, from strategic plans, extensive media coverage, coordinated special events, and the list goes on and on, especially having a background as a VP in banking, healthcare, and clientele at J. Mosley Public Relations, and currently the owner of MizCEO. We got a lot to discuss because that's a resume.
That's a resume.
That's a resume right there. That is it. So first of all, how are you and how are you feeling today, knowing that you have a list of things to get all your flowers for, right? But I feel like you're going to tell me there's more you are doing and haven't done yet.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to be here. It's definitely a privilege. Look, I'm getting all googly eyed and stuff like that too. But there is a lot. I think that I know I am a multifaceted woman. Mm-hmm. I believe that when God plants a seed in you, that it doesn't just bear one fruit. There's a multiplicity of fruit that comes from the seed that he has planted inside of you. So I really feel like I finally have found my purpose. Mm-hmm. That I'm living my purpose. If you would have asked me 10 plus years ago that I know what my purpose was, I'd have been like, nah, I don't. But now I know what I've been called to do, and I'm excited to be walking in that.
Well, you know what's interesting? I recently realized, I was talking with some friends about the fact that your gifts aren't for you, they're for other people.
Absolutely.
So how have you been able to make sure you shine your light and be confident in what you have been called to do? How did you go about that? Because like you said, I'm sure there's plenty of people that don't know what their purpose is or still trying to figure it out.
Well, I think that that's why I tell people, even when I talk to women groups or go speak places, I say, pay attention to your children and what they like to do and what brings them joy. Because I can look back from a little girl when I was having talent shows with my cousins, and we would grade each other A, B, C, D, F. But then it got to the point where it was either A or F. Mm-hmm. And I was always acting out something or wanting to be a lawyer or wanting to speak for other people. I didn't even know if I just necessarily wanted to be a lawyer, but I knew that I loved speaking for people. And that's basically standing up for people. And that's what I get to do. I love helping people. And that's why Deborah's Place has come about. But that's another story about how even I got into that, going through domestic violence abuse myself. Mm-hmm. And now being able to go back and help others to get out of that, but also provide them the resources to do that. Because AshMac, a lot of women stay in that because they don't think that they can leave. They don't think they can leave. They don't think they can make it. They don't want to start over again because they're like, I don't want to start my life all over again. Right. Sometimes we stay with what's comfortable, what we have deemed as comfortable, and right. Dysfunction can be, comfortable too.
Right. I think we've seen a lot of cases of that or heard about it just because of the pandemic, just because of 2020 and how that went on, because we're inside, we're with loved ones or we're with one other person, maybe if you're not by yourself. And when you touch on, domestic violence or any cases where you're either mentally trapped, physically trapped, you can't get out, then the whole world is shut down and you technically can't go anyplace else, then it's kind of like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with myself during this time? Or how do I try to somehow create an escape?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you brought up the pandemic and what domestic violence has done in the pandemic, because first of all, it has no face. Let's be very clear about that. It does not discriminate white, black, rich, poor, gay, straight. It does not matter. And the people are going through DV like never before.
Yeah.
There's a website called gunmemorial.org where it actually shows the number of it shows the murders that go across the country every day. People say, well, why do you watch that? Because I know that it's by the grace of God that my face is not on there. However, just you remember back in the day where if a woman got murdered, it would be all over national news. Now it's not even like, I get emotional talking about it.
No, because this is real. This is real for us. And unfortunately, it's plastered on social media. It might not make headline news, but it's something that's a part of our reality. It's a part of our families. It's a part of what we see. And then a lot of times, unfortunately, it gets repeated over and over and over with the stories we do see and then the stories that we don't see. So
another thing is because we have such a high Zoom-like a reality now. The news is constantly cycling every minute. New news becomes old news within 10 minutes. But I'm telling you, there is a rise against women being murdered like never before. There's a lot of murder-suicides going on. And what breaks my heart the most, AshMac, is to see that these young women are 20, 21. And then on top of that, there's a lot of stories now going on. That's why go to gunmemorial.org and you will see where the young lady happens to be over her grandmother's house. The man might come and kill her, the grandparents, and whoever else is in the house. So I'm a victim by association, basically being at the wrong place at the wrong time. But DV is on a rise. And if you are in a domestic violence relationship and you hear us talking about this today, get out. You can start over. It's okay to start over. I walked out with the clothes on my back. I was living at the Julian Center. Pregnant, 7 months pregnant with my daughter. And I had a 7-year-old son. I came to Indianapolis with nothing. You can start over.
I think we need to make sure, of course, that we're telling people that they have they can share this with us. You can get out. And that's why we're talking about this today, because not only are we making this conversation more comfortable for people to have, but it's still a part of your journey, and know that your journey isn't over and there's another opportunity right on the other side of this door. This is just like a speed bump that feels like will continue and is not going to go away. But, it's just a bump in a little bit of your journey. So, thank you for your transparency. If you're watching this, please know we're going to list more resources. But Dr. Mosley, I think it's even more important that we talk about your resources, because that's a part of your testimony. And if someone can relate to just a little bit of your truth, and your truth that is part of their truth, then they see and hear your resume and everything that we're discussing today, then it's a part of God's will, your faith to continue, and knowing that there is a bigger light at the end of the tunnel, and your light continues to shine bright today. So as you continue to shine your light, what would you like to go into next? Because we have nursing programs. Okay, you was talking about you left with the clothes that you had on your back, but that has turned into something 10 times bigger when we talk about clothes. So you know what? I'm going to let you tell me what you want to talk about first, because there's many ways we can go.
Well, thank you. I want to, in a few moments, bring on the asset manager for Deborah's Place, so we could talk about the program there and what it is that we're doing at the donation center, sponsored by Kids Glove, Deborah's Place. I'm very excited about that. And I did not know, and I'm going to get Takoya. Well, Takoya is the one who helped me find the warehouse. She's coming on too. But let me tell you, I did not know that it was going to go this far. And that's why I always say to women, especially because I mentor and coach a lot of women, I always say, even if you don't understand that nudge in you that tells you to do something, do it anyway, because God is leading you down a path. And there's always there's always a gold pot at the end of that rainbow. And so I never thought that just following an unction that, well, someone told me what to do, that I didn't know that it was this massive. I had no idea that it was this massive, and it's going to get even bigger. So if we can bring Jennifer Rogers on, she can tell you a little bit more about that program Deborah's Place has to help battered women and children.
Hey, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Thank you for joining us today. Listen, I'm loving this conversation. Of course, anytime. Now, please shed some light and your testimony and how, we are continuing to help women that look like all of us in any tough situation, and how we can be a part of that even more.
I was really excited when I was speaking with Dr. Jessica about 2 years ago when she had mentioned Deborah's Place and the shelter for battered women. And I told her, I don't care when it happens, what happens, I just want to be involved in it. She sometimes forgets I have a full-time job, at some point. But I told her in whatever capacity she needed help, that I would just jump in there and help. And the donation center has been my pet project for the last 6 or 7 months. And we had very different visions, very spirited conversations about the donation center. But, once the opportunity that we've had to minister to people, to talk to people from all walks of life, come in and they give us the donation, and they're able to get things for their family that they wouldn't normally be able to get with the partnerships that we have. And just hearing their testimonies, one lady was in tears. She's like, I never would have been able to buy my child a bike. I never would have been able to do this had you guys not been here. And so it has been so rewarding and so fulfilling the last 3 months that we've done this. But we're super excited about it, super excited about the vision. Can't wait for the transitional home and all the myriad of ideas I have for that. But just really excited to be a part of the vision.
AshMac, let me say this. So we currently are partnered with Amazon, Walmart, QVC Lazy Boy, and CVS. And as I was stating to you, I did not know that we were going to need the space that we had. Sequoia took me in, and we went to go see the warehouse. And she's always so super calm anyway. But I just never thought that it was going to go this far. I mean, the warehouse is built, like I stated to you when we were pre-meeting, that we're able to, now we're partnered with my church, Turning Point, and we're doing a food drive every third Saturday of the month right now, and able to feed. Sequoia could probably tell you a little bit more about that food program, but we were doing I think Sequoia said 700 boxes, and that's how much we did the last time. And we were able, so inside of that box, I think we were able to feed anywhere from 4 to 6 people. So that's 4,300 people impacted already by what God is doing through these ministries. So it's a blessing to be here and to be able to serve. Sequoia, what about the food program?
Oh, well, with the food program, I think you hit it on the head, Dr. Mosley. We did the first one partnered with Deborah's Place on March 17th, I think it was, or one of those Saturdays. It was a blur, but it was a lot of fun. We got to talk to hundreds and hundreds of people, pray for every car that came by. We started off at our church, but it was a little slow there. So we actually decided, I was like, let's take all the trucks down the street. We went down to 38th and Post, and it was popping. And we were able to give away, just about 700 boxes of food, talk to everybody who came by, pray for everybody who came by, and just really bless the community. I love stuff like that.
Now, when you talk about, and all of you, feel free to chime in. When we talk about blessings, or when we talk about, Dr. Mosley, you mentioned you didn't see it being this big. A lot of times we put limitations on ourselves because that's human of us to put limitations on things. But the limitation, there is no limitation you can place on God, or if you associate that with the universe or some type of higher being or higher calling. How do you make sure to not put a limit or what you can or cannot do? Because a lot of times we don't see our blessings for what they are in that present moment. But when you look back, you're like, oh, okay, I see what happened and how this got me in the situation for the next one. You know what I mean? So how do you try to make sure to not dim your lights, but to operate in it when that time is now?
Yeah, and just let me be clear, because I know that we have a mixed multitude that is watching us. I believe in God. I believe the universe is a creation. And I don't want to get into the religious part of that, but for my segment, I just want to be very clear that I understand that where my blessings come from, who they come from. I think it's all about what you perceive of yourself, right, AshMac?
Yeah.
Because how I see myself is where my limitations are. And that's why I'm very careful. We were talking about this too, about who I surround myself with.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm around a bunch of turtle-minded people that don't think we can get up off the ground, then that's where we're going to stay.
Yeah.
But when I'm afraid, that's why I'm glad to have Crystal. We need to bring her in too. Crystal and a Jennifer and a Takoya around me, because I could be like, Takoya, are you afraid? She's like, no. If she tell me she's not afraid, I'm good with it. Because then at this point, I'm like, okay, we about to rock this out. She the littlest one in the bunch. But if the littlest one in the bunch tell me she's not afraid, or are you not concerned? Are you nervous? No. Okay. Then let me chill out. Okay. Because maybe I'm just not seeing it.
Right.
The way I need to see it. But that's why it's imperative that you have people around you, especially in business, that can say, hey, you can make it through this. Yes, it's going to be rough. It's going to take a lot of hard work, because that's another thing that's going on with our generation. They want everything now. Yeah. There is no shortcuts to success. There are none. If you know where they at, AshMac, let me know. But there are no shortcuts to success. There is none. But the only limitation that I have is on what I put on myself.
Very true. Would anybody else like to add to that a little bit?
Make Crystal talk.
Hey, Crystal. Let's welcome Crystal to the stage. Hey.
Hey, everybody. I first of all, thank you for having us today. But I agree with what Jessica is saying. Jessica is one of the reasons I'm an entrepreneur today, because she has a way of pushing you. But it's definitely not easy. There's definitely no shortcuts, but it is rewarding, to piggyback off of something else you guys said earlier. Once I know that I am in God's will and what I'm doing lines up to what his purpose is for my life, I've learned that's fuel all by itself. So you telling me no, or somebody else saying it's not possible, we're talking about doing business God's way. I became a full-time entrepreneur at the beginning of this pandemic. And there were many, many different, let's say there was much feedback, some positive, some not so positive, but I consulted God before I did this, and my husband. And that was very important in this journey. So absolutely, we can be our own limitations.
Now, how many times have we all, probably done things and moved forward without praying on it first, or asked God about it? And then once we've moved forward, and then maybe it doesn't go how we planned it to go, right? And then we're like, God, what happened? And it's like, come on, bro. Like, you didn't consult with me first before I tried to bless you. Matter of fact, I had something 10 times bigger for you, but you went a different way. You know what I mean? So when we think about situations like that, how do you, and reflect on it, of course, not to be hard on yourself about it, but how do you continue to move forward and to reactivate and get realigned with God's purpose?
I think go ahead, Jen.
No, I was going to say my first marriage would probably add to.
What?
She said her first marriage.
Her first marriage fell in that category.
I wasn't ready.
I digress.
Go ahead, because I'm sure somebody can learn something too. Listen, people been inside how long? Still trying to figure it out with people and partners and kids. You know what I mean? Listen, so
Drama.
I get it.
Drama. But you know what? I had to recognize I was going in the wrong direction, and I had to repent. Right? I had to not make excuses, not look for the, well, it's their fault, it's this fault. I had to own what I had to own. And I think owning your own mistakes, owning that you got it wrong, is important. And it's a way to move forward. Once you own it and you're honest with God, He can help you. And so I've always found being honest with God has been my saving grace. Thank you, Jesus.
And to piggyback off what Jen said, I kind of liken it to, I hopped in the car last week headed towards somewhere on the west side. And I was like, okay, I know how to get there. And then I realized, hold on, this is taking a lot longer. I don't know where I'm at. And then I was like, oh, shoot. And I'm like trying to pull up my phone, GPS, trying to tap it in all of a sudden. I had to pull over, like stop, slow down, put this in, course correct, and get where I'm going. And a lot of times life is like that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to stop. You got halfway out there and you realize, hold on, this is not the right way. You have to stop, figure out where you're going, allow the course to correct, and get back on route. And that's God's purpose for you.
Ooh, that was a word. Okay, Sequoia.
I want to also let you know, Sequoia is the youth pastor at our church. So you're going to get a lot of words today.
Yeah, that was good. That was a real good one. Great analogy, because who don't use GPS? I still use GPS around the city sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to more words, Dr. Mosley, you definitely said that you operate by a golden rule. What is your golden rule?
Treat others like you want to be treated. That's what my grandma told me. Just treat people right. Just do right by people. Be integral. If your word to me is better than your money, because if once your word is gone, I don't want nothing. I don't want no parts of you. And it's a good feeling that I cannot be bought. I cannot be bought. Our money isn't good money. I will refund you your money. I don't have to deal with you. That's a blessed position to be in.
Yeah, it is.
Because sometimes when I first started off entrepreneurship, I took things that I said to myself, what in the world? But now I'm in a position where I can tell you, keep your money. Mm-hmm. I don't need it, So I think I live by that. I don't like bad attitudes. I won't deal with it. Mm-hmm. I'll be like, well, we'll just get rid of you. And it's a good feeling to be able to do that, not to have to compromise who I am in my core, just to have you in my life or have your business in my life. So the rule that I live by is treat me how you want to be treated, or do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that's not even a scripture. That's just something that we were taught.
Right. But how do you operate like that? Because people are people. A lot of people don't receive those same type of lessons growing up. Everyone has a different background. And a lot of times with how the world is now, 2020, 2021, a lot of times people would rather compromise their morals, if it comes with a certain price tag, or if it comes with something that has a earthly benefit in that moment, that's materialistic. You know what I mean? How do you, and what would you say to somebody that is on the fence of compromising themselves, and it's between, I guess, like money or your purpose, you know what I mean? And one seems more rewarding because it's right in front of you.
I love the last words that you said. It seems. Mm-hmm. It's always a mirage. It's always a mirage. There's anything that you get quickly, or that can be like that you have to sell your soul to get. That's why sometimes I put the hashtag uncompromised, because I am. I know that every place that I got and that I am right now is because of God. And if He got me here, that means you don't have the power to take me down from it. And that's a beautiful feeling, because if I let you bring me to this place, that means you have the power to take me down. If I let you, it used to be a saying that we used to say, if you give them the power to feed you, you give them the power to starve you.
Yep. You
don't have that authority in my life, and I'm not giving it to you either.
That's strong. That's very true, though. Tag.
There's a lot of women.
You feel that. It was like, tag. I feel it.
There's a lot of women that I know, because they did not operate in integrity. Yes, it got them some quick fixes. but now they're always on the hustle. You want your blessing to remain. You can get a blessing, but will it remain? Is the point. Do you want a remaining continual flow of business? Like I told you, I've never paid for marketing. And I'm a full-time entrepreneur. Everything that I have has been by word of mouth. These women wouldn't keep coming back. These men wouldn't keep coming back because all of that quick fix stuff, it never lasts. I've just seen it. I've seen people's businesses just fall apart because they didn't operate in integrity. There's a woman right now who hangs around with another celebrity that I know. And she tried to get me for $65. She tried to hustle me out of $65. People say, girl, you should work with her. I don't want to work with her because if you would try to hustle me over $65, what you gonna do over $6,500 or $65,000? So you've already shown me you're not a woman of integrity. And I don't care what stage you can put me on, because what I have learned is whatever God wants me to have, He gonna make sure I get it.
Yes. Now, let me ask you this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm uncompromised. It's a good feeling.
No, and that has to be a great feeling, but there's a process to get there, especially when we live in a world that's deemed by a lot of times social media at this point, where all you see is you're supposed to hustle. You know what I mean? You got to hustle. You should be working during a global pandemic when sometimes the only work you need to do is on yourself and do the work internal. And, what do you say to the people or persons that feel like if you're not working or working on something, you're losing? And I think that's something that we always see, especially in the Black community. If you're not working, then you're losing. And I just feel like that's completely wrong.
That's why I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, I thank God for the path that He took me on. I'm grateful that I lived in a battered women's shelter because now I know what it is to be without. I think the problem with our society today is that a lot of these children, they don't know what it means to be without. I remember eating biscuits with the thick jelly, with the thick syrup that came in the red. I don't know if any of y'all have experienced it, but I have. It was the bit. My grandmother used to make biscuits, and then it was this real thick syrup. I mean, it was like I can't even describe it. I can't remember the name of it, but it was so thick. And I didn't even know. My mother said, you was po coming up. I said, I didn't know we was po, But what I'm saying is that a lot of times people want instant gratification because they need the applause of men. And that comes back to the first question that you asked me earlier. It's what do you view as for yourself? Because if I don't need your applause. I don't need your applause. What happened before social media? And a lot of millionaires, a lot of people that I know real money don't make a lot of noise. I've learned that too. Most people that really have money, they're not even on social media like that. They're not even on there. This is an instant gratification. Get the most likes. Them likes ain't turning into money. Where the money at?
Facts.
Don't talk me to death. Where the money? I don't want to talk to you about how many likes you got. I want to see the money, the invoices that you got. From where's your invoices? Where are they at? So that's what I'm saying. It's all about how you view it.
Right.
AshMac, I don't need you to like my page. I'm gonna get paid every day anyway.
Facts. I'm gonna still like it though, but continue.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Most people they live off of likes. How many likes you get? Girl, what? Where the money?
Right.
So yeah.
I get it. I'm loving and truly enjoying this conversation because we're not only talking about doing God's business, but clearly if you have a strong foundation with God, then there's no limit to your success. You're not bound to a financial structure or financial burden. You know what I mean? And I've been taking on just making sure to release the idea of being in control, because at the end of the day, I'm not in control of what's going to happen. You know what I mean? I don't get the final say. So why should I want to control whatever situation I'm currently in so much when it's already written? You know what I mean? Like it's already done.
You gotta preach now. It's already, my life is scripted out. Do you hear me?
No, it really.
Did you know that's a scripture though? I'm not gonna go there, but I'm just letting you know. It's already written, girl. Can't nobody live. My life is scripted, okay?
It already is. So, how do you all make sure to release wanting to be in control so much? Because clearly we all have busy lives. You're building brands, you're building empires, you're building something for the city that's always going to leave a stamp here. So it's like, how do you make sure to keep in mind that, what, if I have like something that doesn't go my way or how I think it's going to go, that I'm not going to get upset about this because there's still a bigger plan at the end of the day for what I'm doing right now?
I think it goes back to something that you said earlier when we were talking about what happens when you went ahead of God, or you didn't pray about it, or you didn't consult him before you made a decision, which thank God he allows U-turns. But I think when you are consulting God and he is the focus and he is the driver, then other stuff just kind of lines up with that. It's your focus point. Finances change, stock markets change, your clients, your customers change, but God is consistent. So let me link up with this consistent God and trust him for the path that he's taking me down. And again, it's not always easy, but when you know that you put your confidence in God for everything, then when people change like the weather, you're not so soon shaken. You're not so soon disappointed. You're like, nope, this is the path that he told me to take and I'm on it. And I'm here for the bumps and bruises because they must be good for me.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Woo! Listen, this has been so uplifting and inspirational. And really, if anyone that's watching this felt like they got a little lost along the way, I hope this has pulled you back to realize the path that you're supposed to be on and not to be so double-minded. I think a lot of times we second guess our gifts, right? And we second guess our talents and what we think we should be doing, or we ignore the calls, or we ignore the flags that we've already seen. How do we make sure to not ignore those things and be able to stay focused on our callings?
Well, I think that, and the Bible says, Jesus said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all this righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. When he's priority, it's a lot easier to involve him. I think you have to decide what's important to you, and then you'll find things really do have a way of coming together. It's like, I look at life, yes, it's scripted, but it's like a choose your own adventure book from back in the day, where if you go this way, you get this result, you go that way, you get that result. So you got to kind of choose your adventure. But if you choose to put him first, if you choose to put Jesus in it, you'll find out the adventure story is a lot better.
Mm-hmm. I think discipline is key. Discipline, deciding what you want now versus what you want most is so important. If you're not disciplined, it doesn't matter. You're not going to do anything because you. and I'm of the personality. I get excited just about everything. Have tons of unfinished projects because I was excited about it. It takes a lot to make me stay focused. And so I think knowing who you are and knowing what you're capable of is important. You got to know yourself. You got to know your weaknesses. You got to build on your strengths. You got to improve on your weaknesses. Don't hide them because stuff like this exposes what they are. But discipline is very, very, very important.
Now, when we talk about discipline, that's one thing we all, get a little bit of structure from when it comes to going to school. You get structure of knowing how to do homework, getting ready to pass the test, if that's the test of life or actual physical test when it comes to, down to paperwork in the classroom. But Dr. Mosley, when it comes to school, I know you're providing plenty of nursing opportunities. Can you please talk about what you're doing?
You know what? We got the director on this call.
Okay.
I'm gonna let her listen. You're gonna learn me, AshMac. Start projects and then be like, here, you get manage days. So I'm gonna let Takoya Porter, the director of Sovereign Care Medical Training Center, talk about it a little, and I'm gonna piggyback off of her.
All right. Well, Sovereign Care Medical Training Center was just approved by the state of Indiana last week. Woo, woo.
Yay! Congratulations!
Yes to the approval.
So we are going to be offering both CNA training and home health aid training off the bat, but we're working towards the other trainings as well, like QMA and phlebotomy and all these other trainings. We are in the Him by Her building at 501 East 32nd Street. And so we're really, really excited to open up. We don't have a hard start date yet, but I'm looking towards the summer. I think we'll be on track to offer programming. And so we're excited to bring this training to the community because, one, the field is growing. With sickness is always going to be around. It's a steady job. You can get into it fairly easily. It's a great skill to have. You can serve others with it if you have a sick family member or what have you. And so we're just excited. We're going to bring some other things to the table. I know we're working towards the clothing piece, and there's some other things I'm sure Dr. Mosley will talk about. But we're really excited about this CNA training school that will be coming to the somewhat east side.
And, just to piggyback off of that, like she said, we have some exciting things we're working on. And one thing, Takoya used to run a staffing agency. And so that's one of the pieces. This is going to separate us from all of the other programs out here, because we're going to be partnering with other, like I told you, we want to partner with hospitals and pharmacies to bring, to make sure it's like, hey, this person has a customer service certification through us, and they are ready to go. They're going to provide top-notch service, because as well as we do, AshMac, that customer service is what drives your business. I don't know what business it is. It's the customer service piece. And then also, like Sequoia alluded to, that we will have clothing available for those who will need interview clothing. We want to equip them every step of the way to say, I'm the person for this job, and we're going to show up in excellence. So I think that's what's going to separate us. I know that's what's going to separate us. And of course, having Radio One in my, as my marketing piece to help me get the word out.
Facts.
Yes, we're going to make sure that we get it. We're going to get it down with the get down. But I'm very excited about this, because this can open up so many doors. And it's one more thing I want to talk about. I do want to add the business component of it. We just got accepted by Facebook. In there as an employer partner with us. Look, I gotta tell Takoya, I'm telling her now, that we got interns, that we just got interns, we got marketing, they're giving us ads and all of that good stuff. Also, we got accepted into a program by Kelly School of Business, where they're going to be helping us as well. So, and they're going to all have to deal with Takoya, and then Takoya can break it down to me in the simplest language what they was talking about. So I am very, very excited about these pieces, because it happened all at the same time, right when we got approved. It all just started coming in. So we were talking about the timing of God. Everything is, He knew when to give me these programs. So I'm just really excited. I'm excited for Takoya, and everybody else is just gonna have to report to Takoya. We said Takoya. But I'm just really excited, because we're gonna change lives. I wish this was around because I was a teenage mother. So I wish these kind of programs were around then. So look what we can impact. Say, look, you're 16 years old, you could become a CNA, but this can start your life's work,
right,
and help them. So I'm excited about that.
And I think there's something else you should be excited about, because this right here is an example of Vantage Point.
Yes, to the Vantage Point. Yes, to the Vantage Point. I got all my friends with me who want to fight, right? I'm excited. We're excited. The Vantage Point. Well, let me tell you about this really, really quick, because I know we're running out of time. But I went to Jenny. Jenny is the person, AshMac. If you have an idea, go to Jenny, because she's going to take that one idea and she's going to make it as big as possible, right? So if you have an idea, just go to Jenny. Jennifer Rogers. She's like, why are you putting my name out here like this? Go to Jennifer Rogers with any idea. But I said, Jenny, I'm going to do a talk show. Let's think of a name. Within 10 minutes, we had a name. Jenny was like, the Vantage Point means to think on a higher perspective, right? And so the Vantage Point is seeing things from God's perspective. And I talked to Crystal and Sequoia. They're like, yes. Sequoia is the hardest no. She's the one that's going to always tell you no. So if you get a yes out of her, you better run with it, right? But we're dealing with Christian women, but really all women. We're talking about all women issues. And we're on the WHMB Channel 40. And neither one of these women, they may seem really calm and relaxed, but none of them are yes women. And we have had some coming to Jesus moments, okay? Like we don't agree on everything, but we agree to disagree, right? But we're all women. So
Right.
Crystal, Jenny, y'all jump in. What y'all think about the Vantage Point? Sequoia.
We're on YouTube. We're also
Yeah.
on YouTube every Wednesday
Okay.
at 11:30
Yeah.
a.m. So
Where can everyone find you at on YouTube?
you can search Vantage Point TV. I believe it's Vantage Point TV, or go to our website. It's also Vantage Point TV, or you can go to Facebook at Vantage Point TV.
There you go. I mean, I think this is a perfect example of the fact of being strong in your faith, and of course, staying on course, or even if you get lost a little bit and come back to the course, you know what I mean? Like your possibilities are endless when you have a foundation and you're doing your business the way that God sees fit for your business. Not the way you want to do business, but the way that you've accepted the calling and accepted your purpose and accepted the fact that your gifts aren't for you, they're for everyone else. So shout out to all of you for sharing your light and sharing your gifts and working collectively together to make them happen and really making a difference here in the city. And it's so many things. Like, how can everyone get in contact with you, and what should we be on the lookout for next, honestly? Because it's a lot.
It's not a lot.
Yes, it is a lot. It's a great
It's not a
thing.
lot. I got something else on my sleeve too, because Crystal just sent me a building possibility for something else. But what I'm saying is,
Be busy. Hello.
no, but let me tell you this. There's a difference between being busy and productive.
True.
And I'm like, does it yield fruit? Is it going to be fruit bearing? Is it going to be something that can remain? But I do want to say this. I'm glad that all of them are here. Thank you, ladies, because this shows you that women can get along. Black women can get along. Everybody not hating on you. There's people that want to see you succeed. You can do anything you put your mind to with hard work.
Mm-hmm.
With hard work. I mean, nothing comes easy. I'm up probably every day around 4 and be crawling in the bed. Be so glad when I get to go to bed. But I'm just saying, like, anything is possible, and don't let nobody put no limitations on you. Just like my first lady said to me, you don't know what I can handle. You can't tell somebody what they can handle.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let nobody say, oh, girl, you doing too much. I'm not talking about you, AshMac. But I'm saying, people try to put their limitations on you. No, you don't define me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is possible with God and hard work. Because there's a lot of people that think their education got them where they're at. Wrong. It didn't. I am an educated woman, but I also know that it was not by my own strength.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I got to say.
Okay, where can everyone be in contact with you all and find more information on what's up and coming?
Well, the Vantage Point TV,
Yes.
that's our talk show. You could get us at Vantage Point TV. You could check me out. I think all of us out by our names on all of our social media platforms. Jessica Mosley, Jennifer Rodgers, Sequoia Porter, Crystal Dunn. You can check. You can find us. I'm not hard to find. I ain't not. Dr.
Mosley, I'm gonna let you do the honors to close this out for today, because this has truly been a blessing. It's been such a great experience having you guys all here. And we'll have to do this one day whenever we can safely go out and about again, whenever that day comes.
I think they said the masks come off April 6th.
No, they don't. Not over here.
Okay. Well, I want to just say this. I just want any woman that is in a domestic violence relationship to know that there is a way out. You can come out of whatever that is. I want any woman that's thinking of starting her business, or you might be a woman of a multiplicity of gifts, that you can do anything you put your mind to with hard work and dedication. There are no shortcuts to success. You cannot cheat the grind, but anything is possible to him that believes. I am my sister keeper. I believe that women that together we can be. I'm a force all by myself, but I'm a movement when we're together. I agree with Neo when he said that. But let me tell you something. Women together, oh, we can do some mighty things together. Be on the lookout for Deborah's Place Transitional House and Sovereign Care Medical Training Center making some noise in Indianapolis and abroad. Thank you.